Hey. Yeah. A rush is something godly. Seeing stars, I fall apart. This rush is gonna crush my heart. So lush, I'm loving lying in your arms. I fall apart. This rush is gonna crush my heart. Baby, I should know better. Should keep it all together, but I won't. Hanging on to it, be later. You're telling me forever. I lose it, yeah, I lose my mind. Falling for it every time. Drowning the dead and the blue in your eyes. It's like a rush, it's something godly. Seeing stars, I fall apart. This rush is gonna crush my heart. So lush, I'm loving lying in your arms. I fall apart. This rush is gonna crush my heart. It's crushing. Baby, can't you see it's crushing me? It's crushing me. It's crushing, crush my heart. Drifting out of focus, taking off my clothes. It's 24/7 minutes in heaven. It's gonna end, but baby, tonight it's like a rush is something godly. Seeing stars, I fall apart. This rush is gonna crush my heart. So lush, I'm loving lying in your arms. I fall apart. This rush is gonna crush my heart. So lush, I'm loving lying in your arms. I fall apart. This rush is gonna crush my heart. So lush, I'm loving lying in your arms. I fall apart. This rush is gonna crush my heart. It's crushing. Baby, can't you see it's crushing me? It's crushing me. It's crushing, crush my heart. Drifting out of focus, taking off my clothes. It's 24/7 minutes in heaven. It's gonna end, but baby, tonight it's like a rush is something godly. Seeing stars, I fall apart. This rush is gonna crush my heart. So lush, I'm loving lying in your arms. I fall apart. This rush is gonna crush my heart. So lush, I'm loving lying in your arms. I fall
Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. This year I might have like half my events end up being 10 by 10 booths. So I have Otakon, I have Phoenix Fan Fusion, and I have decided to go for Anime New York City Exhibitors. That is a whole long story. And then I also potentially have another SJ Made event, which booths are 10 by 10 spots. So, which is such a luxury because a 10 by 10 space is so big and so spacious compared to the typical 6 or 8 foot table. And the thing that makes this tricky is that it's going to be a mix of local and travel events. And I gotta say that traveling to fill out a 10 by 10 spot is going to be extremely difficult. It's extremely tedious because you need enough stuff and enough table space and props and stands to make the whole booth look good. And because I have such a variety of different events, I decided that I absolutely needed to take this time and sit down and map and plan how I want my booth to look. So I took the time to meticulously craft and finesse and engineer cardboard and paper into a scaled model of a 10 by 10 booth. Let me show you. And here is what I came up with. I'm really proud of her. Literally everything just fell off my model. Okay, so here are all the components that I ended up making, and starting off is going to be the cube itself. So I made it out of cutting cardboard and chipboard, and then I put paper over it, and I actually scaled this to 60%. So it's 1 foot equals 1 inch, and then I scaled it down 60% because a 10 by 10, like 10 inch by 10 inch is actually quite a large model, but I just kind of wanted something a little bit more compact, and so I could store this away more easily. So this is what it is. And the neat thing about this is that I wanted to have something that was flexible, because 10 by 10s, you're either gonna get an inline booth or a corner spot. And so for some placements, I am going to have a corner spot. So this is what the model looks like as an inline. But if I wanted to simulate or model a corner spot, this back wall is literally just masking tape right here, can just flip backwards like this, and then boom, I have a corner booth like this. So isn't that really cool? I just wanted it to be like really flexible and not have to make multiple models. So there's that. And then in regards to the pieces that I decided to make, I decided to go with this is my 4-foot table, and all of these are to scale and roughly what is common as like the width, depth, and height. So these are supposed to be like 2 feet or 3 feet in height for common foldable tables. So this is a 4-foot wide table. Got a 6-footer right here, and one long boy, an 8-footer right here. I figure I might actually make one or two, another set of these tables, because sometimes conventions will give you, or will only be able to rent you 6-foot tables. So it'd be nice to have 2 6-foot tables in order to orient it here in the booth in however way you want it to. And one of the last things that I wanted to build out were my mini print displays. So they are the wooden tiered displays, these guys, and these are also to scale. I went onto the website and I took the measurements, converted it to feet, and then shrunk it down by 60%. But I've got these and I have 4 of them. I'm quite proud of these too. They look quite good, if I do say so myself. I don't always use these, especially for my standard Artist Alley tables. I've pulled them out more and more often because I like filling out the space, but these are just beautiful because they fill out so much space and so much visual verticality. That's why I really like using these wooden displays, but sometimes they are quite heavy and I don't have the weight allotment for when I'm traveling to be able to bring these all the time. But I think for a 10 by 10 booth, these are going to be clutch in trying to fill out the space. So I also decided to make scaled models of these. And perhaps one of the last things that I wanted to do is a 10 by 10 or 6 inch by 6 inch backdrop. I actually already have a backdrop like this. Right here is the 10 by 10, and I'm attaching it to the booth with just like regular masking tape. Don't mind, this is dog hair. So then in the booth, I'm thinking, well, if I have an inline, it'd be nice if my backdrop was my own art. It's just stronger for like visibility and branding. And so this would look like this, and I think it looks so nice, no? Like I could do something like this for an inline, or I could put an 8-footer back here and then bring this guy up here. I'm not sure this layout would ever make sense, but you know. It's cute. Easy. Another easy one is a 6-foot by 8-foot like this. On the inside, just a little L. So there's so much possibilities, and I'm really excited to explore the different options for booth layouts. Something I do need to consider though is that this looks really nice and compact, but in most events, you usually don't get side draping here. You'll usually get backdrop draping, but most of the time in exhibitors, it's pretty common to either just get the half draping between each exhibitor booth, but I haven't frequently seen exhibitors getting full side draping like this. But I really like the idea of having a very branded and compact booth like this. So if I got an inline, I would really love the option of bringing my own backdrop. So a back one here and then 2 more. So the whole space is kind of closed off, and that way visually it's like very clean and pristine, packaged well, versus like seeing into my neighbor's booth. And not to say that I wouldn't want to see my neighbor's booth, but it's just like it's visually messier when someone's walking by and they can just see clear straight through, and just seeing like, you know, kind of this melting pot of different vendors. But I would prefer to be more clean cut and precise like that. And so that is just kind of an option though, because bringing out 2 full 10 by 10s is going to be a lot of weight, and it's going to be a lot of space because this is going to be really heavy. I'm going to have to bring either a frame or like more stands, and the fabric itself for literally 100 square feet of cloth or vinyl would be insane. Yeah, and I guess that's kind of the nice part about why corner spaces are so goated, is because you only have to accommodate for like 2 walls really, and you get more visual. So I have always tried to pay for corner spots when they're available, but you know, it doesn't always work out that way. So I am going to go through different scenarios and I'm gonna model them, and I want you guys to tell me what you guys think. Now, we've already talked a lot about how important it is to stand out as an artist, and one artist that I really look up to is Natasha L., who is the face behind Sad Shrimps. She has such an iconic and strong look to her work. It is fun and bright and a little like cutesy weird. As someone I consider to have one of the strongest artist brands, I was so excited to take her class on Skillshare. Skillshare is a massive online community that hosts thousands of courses created by experts in their field. Sad Shrimp's class is one of hundreds or thousands of classes you can take online to learn about building an online business. She has 7 chapters that covers the basics of starting your art business. I immediately jumped to chapter 4 where she talks about building your brand. I love the casual conversation it feels like we're having, and she gives great advice on how you should build the happy feeling of shopping with your customer. How do you translate that to visuals for your brand? Natasha is so cute, and her entire course is only 22 minutes long, so it was so easy to digest in one sitting. Although her class really just lays out the basics, Skillshare has thousands of other creative teachers who can show you in depth the other skills you need to build your brand, like photography, digital marketing, and how to make short form videos, and plenty on graphic design. Now, the first 500 people who use my link available down below in the description box or the pinned comment will receive a month free of Skillshare. So take this opportunity, use that link, and sign up to check out the thousands of classes that Skillshare has to offer online. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. So first, running through corner scenarios, I am thinking that this right here is the main aisle. So my booth neighbor would be over here, and then this would just be like the exposed side of at the end of the aisle. So this would be the main aisle, and then across from me on this side towards you guys would be like my other booth neighbor. So that is kind of the orientation that I'm thinking of. And I'm thinking for a corner spot like this, my friend Moonspice, I love mentioning and talking about her because I loved her booth layout when I saw her do this, is that she had a longer table here. It was either 8 feet or by 6 feet. And then she had a short 4x4 right here where she put a lot of her mini prints on display outward like this. The other common orientation that a lot of people will do for their corner spots is to do a very straightforward corner spot like this. Corner orientation, maybe 2 6-footers or 2 8-footers to fill out the whole space like this. But usually I'll see something very similar to this. It gives you a lot of space on the inside to hold your products and store things and to move around. I guess the only thing with this is that you do have to man kind of both sides, but if you are there with a helper, it's like not a big deal, right? So I do like this, and I have used this orientation before, and it's where I put like a lot of hanging things here. In fact, my best-selling con that I've ever did was Otakon, and this was the orientation I decided to go with. So I have an example picture right over here, and so you can take a look at that. What's nice is that you have 2 edges to hang up poster print, and I find that when I look up vendor booth examples, especially for 10x10s on like Pinterest or Google or Instagram, a lot of other vendors are not primarily print vendors. So it's the way that they display their products is very different than a print artist, because for print artists, I feel like it's important to show all your work at once so people are interested and they immediately get the idea of who you are as an artist, your style, etc. And it's very flat. And the best way to display your prints is with visual verticality. So, But I really think that the corner orientation like this, it's very hard to go wrong. You have all this table space, a lot of visual up space, but when you have a lot of visual up space for your posters or whatnot, kind of like what I did at Otakon, you don't really need a backdrop in my opinion, because you have the vertical space for your posters and stuff. So it's already quite busy, and I don't know if adding a backdrop will add that much more for that. Another orientation that I have done in the past for like outdoor markets is the classic viral Z formation. So it'd be something like this. Boom, the Z formation. The nice thing about this is that you get visual from all sides of traffic. Like people can look here, you can lure people in like this way, like this. So I have done this at markets, and what I really like about it is that people don't have to travel that far into your booth in order to look at all your stuff, but they can just kind of casually come along the sides of the aisles here and then browse your stuff without committing too much into going into your booth. So you can come down here, look, look, look. Oh, it's so cute. Oh my God, so cute. Look what else is here. Oh, boom, they're already in your booth. You snagged them. They're inside the booth already before they even know it. And they didn't even have to travel that far. It's literally like 2 steps into here. And then they can look at all your stickers, your other artwork, and then OMG, there's more over here. And then this has been the easiest and quickest way for people to like fully look into all of your stuff. So I really like this as well. And I do this at farmers markets because on the back wall, I'll have like my prints in little stands. I don't like hanging my prints outside because the wind just blows and it falls off and it just constant motion, so it's kind of annoying actually. So this is the only time where I will put my bigger prints, my 11 by 14s, in like sortable bins or displays so for people to flip through and just like kind of look through. I also really like the Z formation. The only thing about this is that it's really hard to get into the back because everything is closed off if you're using these 3 specific size tables within a 10 by 10. So I'm always having to like scooch this table out, like rotate it to get back here and then rotate it back in like this, and it's just like really difficult. But I do like this one a lot. It's quite unique, and I think for a outdoor setting, the markets, this has been a phenomenal layout and I do like it. It's just you do need all 3 unique tables to really make this work. It's not necessary. You could easily use 2 6-foots and a 6-foot and the 4-footer. Yeah, so it's not completely necessary in my opinion. But I also do like this one a lot. Now, moving into an orientation that I think is actually more difficult to work with is the inline booth. So I think inline, it truly is most advantageous to have your colorful backdrop if you're using one in the back. I think that makes the most sense, and that way you don't have to commit to having like big banners on the side. I don't know, I'm like so torn because I think it might be worth it to have 2 banners here, but maybe just like a simplistic backdrop. Like this one back here is clearly so detailed and busy, and I really love it, but it would be nice to have some kind of details on the side too, just to fully complete your brand look. For inline, I think the easiest one that I have seen a lot of artists do is just get your big table, put it like halfway, and then just basically kind of fill it out as a typical artist alley layout, like this, and you just have so much more space. It's still very clean and I still like it. You still have an access in and out point like this. You don't have to move too far into the booth. Customer Miffy doesn't have to go too far into the booth to commit to like looking at your stuff. So, you know, it's just a little waddle in and that's fine. I also really like, you know, having the side table here. And then if I had another 4-footer, I would put it over on this side as well. But even committing to just doing something like this is really nice because you have so much more space. You have like 50% more space right here to put more work. So like your stickers or more mini prints, or if you want to do stacks of prints right there, that will look nice. But again, like I think having a clean backdrop to like cut yourself off from neighbors would just look so much cleaner. And I haven't decided how I want to commit to doing like something like this. This orientation is also really nice, I think, for travel cons because you're not committing to needing oh no, Muffy, I'm so sorry. You're not committing to needing to rent or find or bring 3 tables. Like this is so straightforward. It's very easy and compact. Like I think this is by far the easiest orientation for an inline booth like this. So I'm kind of leaning towards this for an inliner. Again, you kind of have this edge right here, so you can put something on the outside, like catch people's attention, and then you can kind of orient other displays like this that like naturally have them feed into your booth like this. So if they're strolling by, oh my God, cute. Oh my God, cute. Boom, you hooked them in again. Another orientation would be the typical like gallery look. I think this is okay. This is definitely not my favorite just because like where are you gonna sit? Like if Miffy is me, you'd have to kind of sit back here and you're like very exposed. Like there's nowhere for you to like hide. But I have seen people who do just sit in the corner like this, exposed like that, but I don't like it. I don't like it. This is kind of nice though. I kind of like this. The problem I have with this is that there is not a lot of storage space because because there's a lot of circulation happening here for your customers to come in and take a peek over here at all your products here, all your products here. But because it's so deep, there's just like not a lot of like circulation for them. Like people kind of get shuffled up in here and will have to like walk around other people who are browsing at the two sides of your booth. So I don't know, for like traffic's sake, if I truly really like this at all. I think it looks clean, like very straightforward, and it provides a lot of space, but this one is just not my favorite. I just don't love the gallery look railed on both sides. And also I don't think this looks that good if you don't have these sides. So pretend you just have like side pipe and drape between you and your neighbor. Your neighbor's over here, right? It's just like it would look flat and continuous into your neighbor's space, in my opinion, depending on, you know, how you decorate and everything. But this one it's still just not my favorite. I don't know. And especially if your neighbor happens to be on the messier side, which is within the right on their side, and then like their back side of this looks really messy, it translates into your space. So again, with the inliner, I'm still debating whether or not I should get side walls, because that is just like a massive commitment, but it might be worth it because 10 by 10 booths are so expensive. Like, this is the time for conventions where you do not want to cheap out. You want to stand out for your 10 by 10. So in my humble opinion. Now, the viral Z formation is very doable in an inline as well. So, which I have done in the past as well, where I put a 4-footer here, and then usually I'm using a 6-footer, but I don't have two 6 feet. But I would do something like this, and then on the back wall there would be another 4-foot or 6-footer table. So I'm going to use my 6-foot here. And this is also a very doable inline 10 by 10 layout. And it's the same logic. I have actually really liked this at farmers markets because I will put these here and it's very easy and eye-catching. And then the thing I don't like is that, yes, this is very narrow for people. So you can't fit a lot of people in your booth. But if people are interested, you have so much surface area here, and then you have a lot of space back here, this whole entire 6-foot table back here to put more products as well. And it's nice because if you have your backdrop in the back, it's very visual and eye-catching, and you can put more things here that make it really interesting so people are curious. I do like it because it just provided a very interesting layout. This is not for everyone though, that's for sure. I think it's nice though. Like, once people turn the corner and then they see your booth like this, I think there's a lot of visual that provided within your booth. So I like this, and then I always have my Sundrop banner right here, so it's front and center for people to see it. A lot of people, when they're walking by, like at the farmers markets or something, will stop by here and just say, oh, Sundrop Studios, and then they take the time to look at my mini prints here. And then I usually have my sticker trays right here in the front as well. And I have my sticker trays trailing up the front into the booth because stickers are really, really easy bait to get people into your booth here. So it's just a natural hook to get people in here. But I do understand that this is a very narrow space, but for something like a farmer's market that isn't high traffic, this is a really great layout, in my humble opinion. But for a convention where there are hundreds of thousands of people, potentially, at least definitely like tens of thousands of people coming through, this is not my favorite orientation, I think. I just don't see it being the most practical. Yeah, especially if you bring out sidewalls like this, like it's just very narrow. So I don't know. I don't think I would want to do something like this. I think if I had the inline, for sure, I would just do a very simple, like half L in the booth. In the booth like this. Something like that. Something like that. I think a lot of these orientations will work for a lot of people who are exploring the bigger spaces, but I think depending on what you sell, the type of products that you sell, these different orientations obviously will either favor you as a brand and your products versus like a print artist. So apparel versus print artist versus stationery goods, etc. How many flat things are you selling? How many things need to be up and displayed? I think almost in every case, going up and display is the best case scenario, but like kind of just the orientation and look of everything, it just depends, you know? The other thing that I want to do is explore different branding ideas. So if I wanted to commit to getting 2 10 by 10s or almost 10 by 10 size side walls, how complex do I want to do it? How do I make sure that it falls into my brand? Like, what kind of brand do I want to build from here on out? Because my art style is part of my brand. I like drawing everyday scenes that are cute. maybe feels a little magical, like romanticized, but I don't want to have everything be so busy. So the other thing I wanted to do was kind of model and explore different branding ideas in terms of color, palette for the look of a booth and just see how that would look. I think another point to make is that the type of booth orientation that you commit to is heavily dependent on whether this is a local or travel event, because if I'm traveling somewhere, I don't want to have to rent 3 tables or 2 tables even. Like renting a table for these conventions is insanely expensive. Like it will cost like $200. I think I rented a table at Otakon, and this isn't Otakon's fault. This is like the vendor that works with the convention center who has the contract with them. I think it's Shepherd, but they price gouge the heck out of their rentals, and it was a whole thing. If you go watch my Otakon vlog to see how that event started out for me. Renting tables will cost you so much money, like $200 or something, right? Like ridiculous like that. So if you can minimize the amount of like table rental that you have to do, that would be so ideal. The more complex, obviously, the more time it will take, and perhaps you'll have to bring even more things. Filling out a 10 by 10, you know, you have to bring a lot of your displays, a lot more product potentially. As a side note, if you're an artist looking to go into exhibitors, most conventions, exhibitor halls do not allow fan arts. You will get dinged. There will be lawyers. They will ask you to take it down. And if you don't take it down, you're going to get booted. I have seen it happen. And sometimes it doesn't happen. Like, it's up to how strict a con is, but you are playing at your own risk. Like, if you think being a fan artist in AA is already risky, there's no way that you're going to be able to do it in exhibitors. It is far more riskier in exhibitors. I think I have enough originals to be able to carry me though, so I think I'm okay. But what's kind of annoying is that in the previous vlog, I said that I wanted to do more fan art so I'd be more qualified for these like anime conventions and whatnot. And and here this year I'm in a situation where I'm just gonna be ending up in a lot of these bigger exhibitor spots. It's just funny how things worked out that way. So that is a major con. The other con is that these are obviously so much more expensive. Like Anime NYC, their exhibitor spots, so there's 2 zones. Zone 1 is premium zone, and those go for, I think they're like $2,100. And then if you want a corner spot, it's an additional $600. I opted for zone 2 and a corner spot. I'm a little worried, but that's $2,500 just for the booth space. So kind of crazy, kind of insane, in my humble opinion, but I went for it. If you watch my last year's vlog from ANYC, my total expenses for that trip, with some fine dining included, was about $3,000. I think my Artist Alley spot was only $600. So going into exhibitors with a 10 by 10 plus corner spot, I am adding $2,000 more. So if I spend about the same amount of money as I did last year, plus $2,000, I am going to be about $5,000 deep into this. It makes me sweat. I'm sweating right now. Oh God. But the thing is, because you're spending so much and exhibitors is so big and so vast, you really have to be able to stand out. I think that's so important. And I think for a lot of artists, sometimes it's hard, especially if we only have a lot of like smaller flat products. It's easy to get swallowed up. And I've seen some of my friends not enjoy it. It's just not the same vibe as Artist Alley, where it feels a lot more curated. Exhibitors is kind of a mixed mass of like these big corporations, massive companies, and a bunch of resellers. So the flavor is not always conducive to success. So it's a double-edged sword. Now, I'm not even sure if I even explained myself, but this year for the first 10 by 10 spot I'm going to have is with Phoenix Fan Fusion. I have been in the Artist Alley for the past 3 years, and this is the year that I would like to move up into exhibitors for the bigger space, but 2, just because it's my local con, so I feel like I am literally saving so much more money because it's my local con. I don't have to pay for flights or shipping or anything like that, or hotel. So because I'm saving a lot of money, by nature of it being a local con, I feel like I can take a higher risk with trying to go all out, and I have more readily available resources here, and I can drive around. I have the mobility, I have the transportation to fill out a 10 by 10 booth, and I just want to see if it's worth it, because then I can be more visual, more out there, and I just want to see what the payoff is like. Like, this is literally just marketing. I want to be more visual and out there in the world and see if it pays off. So that's why I decided to go from a Artist Alley spot to the exhibitor spot for Phoenix Fan Fusion. The next 10 by 10 spot that I have is the unlimited booth at Otakon. So Otakon, for every single layer of it, so you have your unlimited booth, then you have your standard booths, also 10 by 10 as far as I know, and then your standard Artist Alley table. So the standard tables, you're only allowed to have about 50% original and fan art, and then the unlimited booths is a 10 by 10, and you have the luxury of unlimited fan art if you wanted to. And that's not really a huge problem for me because I don't have a 50-50 portfolio anyways. I just shot my shot for every single pool. And if you win multiple of the pools, you can choose. But for me, I did win the unlimited spot. So it's a 10 by 10. You are able to pick your booth for that. And I wanted a corner again, like really, really bad. But it's a first come, first serve. So as the emails are coming out, and they don't tell you when the acceptance email comes out. So if you get in right away for Otakon Unlimited, you go in as your email acceptance and you pick a spot like immediately. I got mine really early in the morning, so I didn't see it until maybe a couple hours later. And so the only spots that were left for me were inline. So I decided to choose one. I think this is a little risky, but I chose one on the outside facing the vendor. So there's a huge gap, honestly. But I chose that spot because I think it's close. It gets a lot of visual exposure from the vendor side. And I was also on that corner spot last year, and it was really good. I did like it, but I have an inline. So Otakon, I have an inline 10 by 10 spot. And then following that, the next weekend is Anime NYC. And funny story, so the Anime NYC acceptance / waitlist emails came out earlier this week, but I didn't get anything. But I also didn't think too much of it because oftentimes when conventions are sending out acceptances or waitlists, it rolls out and sometimes they just don't make it to your emails because it ends up in spam or promotion or a different folder. But I got nothing. I searched every single place and all the emails had been officially sent out. So I was like, okay, no big deal. I'll just email them and ask them directly, hey, what's the status? Like, was I accepted or rejected or waitlisted? ANYC, as far as I know, does not do rejections. They just have a massive list of waitlist options. Anyway, so I emailed them. They emailed me back and said, hi, we don't have any record of your application under your name, your business name, or your email. And I'm like, okay. And they asked for my confirmation email. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll just go find it. I searched through every single email that I have 3 emails. I searched through spam, trash, everything, promotions, updates, all those folders. I don't have a confirmation email from ANYC Artist Alley. And I'm just like bewildered because I know I applied for ANYC. The day that it was open, I was on my phone or laptop. I had the application open. I remember explicitly doing it because I love ANYC. I had a really good time last year. Like, there's no way in heck that I would have missed applying for this convention. It's like one of my top favorites. And I love New York. And I was like, I know that I applied, and basically it was so pathetic, but I was like, I don't have a confirmation email. And I was asking around my other friends, they all had confirmation emails, but I didn't even think anything of it because there's so many conventions that do not give you a confirmation application email. Like AX didn't and Otakon didn't. So like the fact that I never got a confirmation email didn't even register as alarm bells to me. So basically I think it just never got sent through. And in my pathetic email reply, I was like, I have searched every crevice of my emails. I don't have a confirmation. I know I applied. Is there any way that you guys can review my portfolio and add me to the waitlist? Like, I'm not even looking for an acceptance or anything, just like a shot at the waitlist. And I told them, yo, I've been accepted in 2023, 2024. I worked really hard to bring new things to the table for 2025. This year, I was really excited. I updated my portfolio just for you guys. And they were very nice about it, but they said, unfortunately, no. They got 3,400 applications and they have to honor that wait list that they had set. And I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. That's very understandable. I understand, but I was devastated. I was freaking devastated, guys. I was like crying and like upset at myself, and I just didn't know. My application just never got sent through. So then I asked them, like, do you happen to know if there are still exhibitor spots available? And they said, here's a link to the exhibitor side. If you don't hear back by the end of the week, like, let us know and we will nudge this exhibitor sales team, which was a really good sign. They said that, like, they looked at my website and everything. They're like, there's no fan art allowed in their exhibitor side explicitly, but it seems like I have enough original merch that I would be a great fit for it. So that was really nice of them to say. So I was like, okay. But the exhibitor booths are so expensive. It's like $1,900, and then if you want the corner spot, it's an additional $600. So $2,500 just for the booth, just for the booth. This is by far the most expensive fee to exist in a con that I would have ever needed to shell out for. So anyways, at the time of this recording, I decided to shoot for the moon and just go for it. So I sent back the paperwork, my application, my website, everything, and I'm gonna hear back. I think I have a good shot of being accepted, especially since the Artist Alley team said like they would kind of unofficially nudge them and point out my application to help me out. What the fuck? That all being said, because I think I'm committing to it, and they haven't accepted me yet as of recording this, so I'm assuming that I'm going in manifesting that I'm gonna get a spot, hopefully a corner spot, because that's what I put down as my preference. So hopefully I'm gonna get a corner spot for Anime NYC, but because of that, I feel like I really have to go all out for this booth to really make it worth it. The one thing that is like amazing about exhibitors though, the pro, is that exhibitor spots are rebookable. They are rebookable, so if I do well at this year at ANYC with the exhibitor spot and it's worth it to me, I have the peace of mind knowing that next year I'm sold, I'm settled into the, like I have ANYC on my roster and that's amazing. So that would be peace of mind. Do you hear me gulp? I'm like sweating and like thinking about it. But I really hope that obviously I hope it goes well. Like we'll see how that goes. Those are my 3 big events that will be 10 by 10s that I think I really need to go all out as much as I can about it. I'm glad that you guys are here to give me solicited criticism and your thoughts. So please do. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me. I'm looking forward to hearing your guys' thoughts, and I will see you next time. Bye.
She's gonna crush my heart. So lush, I'm loving lying in your arms. I fall apart, this crush is gonna crush my heart. Baby, I should know better.